Hi, I'm Laura, and welcome to the PIRATex Deep Dive, where key personalities of the world of events and the experience economy join me to share their stories and their take on the future of the industry. In each episode, you will find a lot of helpful insights and learnings to bring your event game to the next level.
PIRATex Deep Dive. All things remote events.
In these deep dive sessions, we are talking a lot always with event organizers about how the industry is developing, what their stories and experiences are. But today I want to switch perspectives a little bit, and it's digital events. They can be set up in so many different ways, but what you always need is it's a base, it's a location, a spot where basically everything is happening. So an event platform. And we know there are a lot of them out there, and it's really crucial to pick, picking the right one can be really crucial for the success of your digital event. And you might remember that like a while ago in these deep dive sessions, we had more than 20 platforms pitching their product and giving us some brief insights on what their benefits are and what they're good at. So there are a lot of them. You can still get this quite crisp and informative information on our website, pirate-x.com. But coming back to today's session, my guest today is Iraklis Alexopoulos, and he is the co-founder of Balloon, a pretty new player in the event platforms business. And that's what actually makes them so interesting, because they just launched a product beginning of last year. So they basically, with the start of the COVID crisis, so they saw there is a new need and they jumped right on it. So with the very ambitious goal to become the best event platform. So warm welcome, Iraklis. Very happy having you with me today. How
Thanks,
you doing?
Laura. What an intro. Wow. Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, it
everyone.
is a big goal, right? Becoming the best platform.
Big goal is an understatement. And I think in order to achieve any big goal without getting too philosophical right off the bat, you have to start with smaller, meaningful goals. And that's what we're trying to do. You can't go from zero to hero right away unless certain things happen, which, you can't count on them. Okay. So in our case, we try to make meaningful, impactful steps and meet those milestones to get to that goal.
Nice. It's been a while since we talked. You were also taking part in our pitch sessions, so I'm really excited keeping this conversation going and diving deeper into your story, because I'm pretty sure there was a lot going on in your cosmos the last month. But before we're focusing on Balloon, I want to focus on you for a little bit. Tell us a little bit, Iraklis, who are you? What should we know about you? 2-3 sentences.
The things you can know about me. Yeah. So, I'm the co-founder of Balloon, as you mentioned. I'm Greek originally, as you can tell from my accent. And I've always been very passionate about solving real problems in very interesting ways with interesting people. And that's exactly why we started Balloon. For me, it's all about, making an impact, making sure that you bring different kind of expertise and specialties to basically enhance people's lives. And that's what we aspire to do.
Love this goal. Really lovely goal. No, but before we start diving into the topic, I always do like a short game with my guests to get like even more personal impression of you. So it's called the one or the other game, and you don't have to explain yourself, just answer one or the other. So really simple, okay?
Sure.
You
sounds
ready?
Good.
Okay. So Are you a chat or a voicemail kind of person?
Chat.
And sweet or salty?
Ooh, I have a sweet tooth.
Are you more reading books or listening to podcasts?
I like to think I read books, but I actually end up listening to podcasts.
So you can listen to our one afterwards.
Yep, exactly.
LinkedIn or Twitter?
Twitter.
And you prefer live or recorded sessions?
Live, I would say. especially when you get the audience.
Yeah, true, for the interaction. Good point. Yeah, well, as I said, you just launched your product. You just entered this market basically in the beginning of the COVID pandemic, which is, I think, or I guess that this also like was a trigger for you guys to push this vision. But yeah, I'd love to hear some more information. Like, how did the idea of Balloon actually develop last year?
Yeah, so we actually started building it when the pandemic hit, and we actually launched in sometime around October. So the way it came together is myself and my co-founder, who's a friend for a long time now. We've always been bouncing, off ideas about like different projects and stuff. And he's actually an expert in the industry, in the event industry. So that's where his background is. So we were bouncing off some ideas for the past, year, and we started talking about this idea on some robotics idea. It was actually quite interesting, but neither him or myself know much about robotics. Then when the whole pandemic started happening, and I remember it was clearly when the Barcelona Mobile Congress got canceled. Mm-hmm. As we were still discussing about this robotics idea, I think it all started with like a WhatsApp kind of voice memo, even though I'm a chat guy. So I don't remember exactly, either him or myself, we sent a message to each other like, hey, what's happening? Like, why don't we just try and solve for this? And the reason why we got excited about it is basically because it was a nice sweet spot between our collective experience, if you will, which is events industry and technology. Mm-hmm. And also it kind of surfaced a very big problem. So the very big problem was that the physical events are loaded with risk. And with that also come other things. For example, the barrier to entry is very, very high if you want to host a large or medium-sized physical event, which means it's not accessible to everyone. Yeah. So these two things, how loaded with risk events are, and don't go too far. It doesn't have to be a pandemic. It can just be like one day of bad weather and 20% of the people you were expecting are going to show up. True, and that is a big hit, right? Yeah. But at the same time, you have to pre-commit to booking a large venue and pay for the whole thing. So there's a lot of risk. So we thought that, we can do better than that. And by saying that, I'm not saying that, still to this day, we don't believe that physical events are going to be displaced and, virtual events are going to replace fully physical events. There is always a use case for each of the type and maybe even something in between. So yeah, for us, we're trying to...
No, go. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt
you. No, it's just, I was just saying that for us, we're trying to solve the problem in the best way possible for the channel that we have at hand, which is a digital channel.
Yeah, I like the one with the risk. And I know that physical events have a lot of risk. Digital events do have them as well. If I'm just thinking about you as a platform, for me, it was always in the beginning, you depend so much on the platform. This is like such a relevant aspect from your event, because if you're in a physical location, it won't happen at the guy who hosts the location comes and tells you, well, it's closed today, sorry, you won't come in. This is not happening. But if you're having a platform where you're hosting everything and it breaks down or something happens, and you really have to rely on them. But what I actually wanted to say is I like it that you switched, or I think it was a really good decision to switch from robotics to building an event platform, even though I don't really see what they two ideas have in common. But if you're looking at event organizers, I guess you experience it as well, that they tend to try to, as you just said, transform the physical event or the physical product into a digital setup. And I think we both agree that this is not the way how it should be, because you just said it, it's actually a different product. It's something additional that you have. And you and your business, you don't have this old perspective of how events are, because you started, or you're following a 100% digital first approach. So what would you say, how do you guys define an event? What would be your definition?
Yeah, first of all, just to kind of continue what you said about the argument about the more VR like gimmicky events. I think, it's kind of normal that people tend to fall into whatever is more obvious or whatever they're used to. But definitely, this is one of the things that it really pays dividends to just take a step back and try and really rethink what is the optimal experience. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the way we define events, I mean, the definition of what an event is doesn't really change based on the channel. An event, if you think about it, is a gathering of people around a specific topic or interest, which is very time sensitive. Obviously, you can have pre-recorded events, but what makes an event in the sense of, all the serendipity, little details and all that is that it happens at a given time. So that is the definition of an event, and that doesn't change. What does change though is the channel. As well, other things can change as well. So not all events are the same in terms of audience. So let's say an event that is more related to a non-profit, it's still an event, but it will be very different to an event around, which is more of a trade show. So it's important to kind of build all those layers of definitions and expectations of the experience. For us, what matters when it comes to an event is to make sure that technology doesn't get in the way, and instead it really fulfills and delivers on the definition of the event. So for that to happen, people need to feel that they actually participate. People need to feel that things are happening right now. People need to be able to navigate from one experience to another, the same way you can walk from one stage to another in a physical event. So starting with the definition of what makes an event and what makes a good event, it's important to understand what are the mechanics that you have in the medium that you work in, and make sure you leverage those mechanics. This sounds a bit philosophical.
A bit, but it's okay.
But what I'm trying to say is, for us, what makes a good event is it has to be engaging. People need to participate. They need to feel that they don't just passively consume content. There have to be opportunities for businesses to exhibit their products. There has to be opportunities for new business and leads to be generated. So all those things have to happen during an event.
Yeah, but to wrap it up, so that people get together at the same time level or at the same time period, this is crucial. That would be your point, right? So it doesn't matter if the session is recorded or what, but the participants have to get together in a certain period of time. Really like this definition. And I just wanted to ask whether the definition changed during the last year, but you basically already answered it. It's not the definition that changed, but the way we bring across this, or we satisfy the need or the experience, right?
True. I think what changes how well we actually understand and live and breathe the definition. And maybe for sure, every day we learn new things, and we kind of reprioritize what really matters at an event. But at the end of the day, the baseline remains the same.
Yeah. So now when we're looking at the past few months, COVID boosted this digital event business, and it was attractive and a big opportunity for new players like you as well, and also for businesses who might not have realized what opportunities are out there for them, right? Who never considered doing digital events. They might do it now, but looking at you as a new player, when there are, like I already said it in the beginning, there are so many platforms. We collected a list of about 100 plus digital platform providers and tools. What makes Balloon stand out? Why should I choose you?
Well, that's a good question. So first of all, I would start with saying that I think that even though in the beginning we ourselves as well, we started approaching this as a general purpose events platform, I think very quickly we started seeing that you can't make everyone happy with a product, right? So it's important to first understand what is your audience. What are the people who you can deliver the most value to, and what is that event industry, if you will. So in that sense, I would say that there's no one solution to rule them all, for sure. And the very same reasons that might make us a solution for you to choose us might be the same reasons that another industry might not be happy with. So what I'm trying to say is that, it's important to kind of understand your niche, even if your niche is very broad, like, some of the platforms out there. But I think what makes us different is, first of all, we're very passionate about building products that we ourselves love to use. And I would like to think that, when you experience Balloon and you interact with the platform, you can actually almost feel that. You can see the little details and how much we empathize with the user in the messaging, in the whole user journey, and really try and put ourselves in the shoes of someone who is using the platform for the very first time without knowing all the things that we know. So that is one kind of, foundational element of the platform. Yeah. The other one is that we have a very clear product compass, and that product compass has two main elements. One is make sure that the experience is engaging. Everything we do, every single time we prioritize a task, we ask ourselves, is this going to bring us closer to that goal? Is this going to make the experience more engaging? So in that sense, we have multiple ways for people to engage. Even when you actually watch something which could be a passive consumption of content, which is a stage, we have ways for people to interact. We have emojis, we have sentiment reactions, there is chat on the side. So you're about to say something?
Look into no. Go ahead. Yeah, chat on the side.
Yeah, then we have different ways for people to network, which is, we have the one-on-one networking, which can be even that, the way we build it, we try and make it less overwhelming, because in many other platforms, the way it happens is, you go into networking mode and suddenly you see a person you've never seen before right in front of you. There's no kind of build up, there's no preparation. So even that we build in a way that we kind of build up the excitement gradually without making it overwhelming. And at the same time, for people who don't feel comfortable chatting one-on-one, we also have small group networking. So we kind of cater for everyone. Then, yeah, please go ahead.
No, I just wanted, when I'm listening to that, I guess that you did like a lot of customer research, probably, I guess, before you launched it, because you have to get a sense of what people need and what they want. Was there some, did you focus on specific aspect when doing these research, or what were your learnings? I guess you put all these learnings into building the platform, but is there any specific customer research that you focused on?
I think we focus on two kind of main buckets of personas, if you will. One is the organizers themselves, because they're equally important. Actually, organizers, they're definitely equally important as the attendees, because if organizers don't like the platform, if they don't find it useful and intuitive, there's not going to be any events for attendees to come, right?
Yeah.
So that was definitely, we put a lot of time in that, in building not just the event, as you see, the event experience, but the actual admin interface, if you will, to make sure that it caters to their needs and it meets their aspirations in terms of how configurable an event can be, how much control they have over the event, without making it too much for them to have to, really educate themselves for hours on how to build an event. Mm-hmm. So we really try to find that sweet spot between making it convenient, making it fast, but at the same time, making it as configurable and flexible as you're willing to invest in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that
so
does.
That was one side of the kind of customer survey. And the other one was obviously the attendees. Mm-hmm. So from our personal experience, us being attendees, our close network, we had a lot of calls with people from our network trying to understand what it is that they enjoy at an event, what it is that they remember when they live an event, and what really makes an event special. And obviously also from chats that we had with attendees that we reached out to, not just necessarily from our network, but also from other channels. We tried to find the common denominators, if you will, of what makes a great event experience. And all of them, that's a bit of an exaggeration, most of them raise the point about engagement, about how virtual events can feel passive and like a glorified Zoom call, and how they felt that they wanted a way for them to feel that they actually contribute to the content. Yeah. They don't just consume content. So these are the things that we use to build a platform.
I love it that you took the organizers into account, because seriously, it often feels like that the platforms are built by tech people who might attended an event but didn't really take into account the back end, we as organizers, we're looking at different things than the customers who are in the end using the platform. So I think this is really relevant to look at both of these perspectives, because in general, the organizers are your customers, right? But they are just happy if the participants in the end are happy too. So it's also probably quite handy that your other co-founder is from the event business and has some insights on that.
Definitely. I think if you don't serve for the organizers, you miss on a massive opportunity. And the opportunity is that virtual event platforms have virality built in, and they also have network effects built in. Mm. The people who attend events, a big chunk of them might actually convert into becoming organizers themselves, thus fueling more your customer base, because we're a B2B platform, right? Like obviously attendees attend the events, but what we need to make sure we get is organizers. And once we get organizers, they would take care of running events and getting attendees themselves. Yeah. So if you don't build for the organizers, you kind of hump your own growth. So it's very important.
What I would wish for, like really wish for, we talked about this in the beginning of the year with my CEO Felix and my colleague Natalie. We did like a wish list for how we would want the technical developments evolve or improve in this year. So are you, for example, thinking about hiring UX designers or something? Because they are the people who are that creative, who might come up with technical solutions, innovations that we cannot even think about yet? Or is your team ready for that? Like, I would wish for solutions included into the event platform that I cannot imagine, because I'm simply not capable of imagining what opportunities we actually have.
Yeah, I mean, user experience, and because sometimes people tend to confuse UI with UX. Yeah. User experience is key in whatever anyone builds. Like, even let's say if you build a mug, a coffee mug, the user experience for that mug and making sure that the opening that's, from where you grab the mug is sufficient for like a normal average person to put their hands through. Even that is UX, right? Everything is UX. And I think what makes great UX, obviously, there's people who are experts in the space, and these are the people that you mentioned who come with that expertise. But anyone can potentially be a great UX person as long as they think long and hard enough and empathize with a specific problem. And that's what we try to do with every single thing we build. We spend a lot of time, I personally spend a lot of time briefing my team about not just what needs to happen, but what is the backstory of what we do. Because what happens is, humans, we're creative individuals. If you don't tell me exactly what is the backstory of what you asked me to build this chair, I will just build a chair for you. But if you explain to me that, this chair actually caters for this kind of people based on these needs, I will start thinking about it. And I will not just build what you asked me to do, but I will also add my own creativity, which has so many good, side effects. First of all, the product ends up being better. The team ends up being more engaged because they have ownership in the end result. So yes, to answer your question, UX is key. Everything we do is about enhancing the user experience, making it less overwhelming, making it more pleasurable. You know how you sometimes use it? Yes, how sometimes you use a platform, and the way I feel it, and I've heard other people saying the same, is like, I'm not afraid to click around. I click on things without thinking twice, without thinking that, I'm going to click on this and then I'm going to have to wait for 2.5 seconds, which in our age is a
long time,
a neon. And you get this feeling that you can just navigate freely in a platform. That's the feedback we get about Balloon. And that's exactly what we strived very, very hard to build. So it's that kind of level of pleasurability, if you can say.
Yeah, pleasurability. Good word. Iraklis,
is that a word?
I don't know, but I know what you mean. I wanted to push one current news that came across my desk, is that your competitor Hopin just bought StreamYard. I'm pretty sure you heard about that too, which was, I think, a smart move. Do you expect any effect from this? Just like general?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I think it was an excellent move. Obviously, Hopin growing very, very fast. You should have done that. Yeah, can you just lend me the 250? Because I don't have them to have it right now. Okay. I have 125. You can chip in the rest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was an excellent move. And obviously, Hopin and other players as well, they try to consolidate the market. They try to make sure that they have all the key other players kind of to complete the picture, either to run a hybrid event or a virtual event. And StreamYard, indeed, from my personal experience as well, I've been a huge fan. I mean, the product is great. The founder is a very, very, very insightful product builder as well. And they've done super well, which, by the way, it's interesting because everyone talks about Hopin, but the real hero here is StreamYard, who are a bootstrap business, zero funding. Yep. And they were making $30 million ARR.
Yeah,
now,
that's true.
That's a story, right? So what I expect to change from that is...
No, go,
please.
Go. I just wanted to
what
say...
I expect to change... Go, please.
I just wanted to say, to keep it more general, as you probably going to say as well, I'm wondering if this is a future outlook, that we have to build these stronger cooperations with the different partners taking part in an online event, like a platform with a StreamYard, with a streaming provider or a platform provider with an event agency, so that you have create these default solutions, that maybe I know when I'm doing a project, the platform I recommend will be Balloon. Boom, because we are working closely together. Or as it is with Hopin right now, if they're streaming something, the default solution will be StreamYard. Full stop.
Yeah.
So maybe this is how our market environment will cluster itself in this year.
I think this happens in every industry the same way, like, Salesforce acquired, like, Slack. I think big players will always try and consolidate and get the best players in their team, the same way like any sports team does.
Right.
But I think even though big players are more the kind of general purpose players, there's always and will always be room for, more niche players or players specialized in a specific segment. Having said that, I think, it's what we might see now with this acquisition is, I'm not sure if they're going to completely absorb and make it not available for anyone else. So if that happens, that obviously would affect platforms who are recommending this platform to their users, or perhaps they integrate with this platform. Mm-hmm. And then that would mean that, if there's no other great solution out there for live video streaming, which apparently there is one, and it's called Balloon Studio. If there's no other solution.
What is Balloon Studio? That's your streaming platform? Your streaming provider?
That's basically our backstage kind of video live streaming platform. So you can just go on a backstage on our platform. It's very, very easy for you to invite speakers, moderate the speakers, get speakers out of the talk or include them, and do all sorts of things. So it's quite powerful.
Nice.
So hopefully we're gonna,
Yeah, we should talk about that off record later.
Definitely, or on the record.
Or on the record. No, but yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. You weren't finished. You were?
Was I not?
I don't know.
No, I was just saying that, with any kind of acquisition, the question is whether the product that has been acquired is still going to be available for others to use.
Yeah.
And if yes, what is the pricing going to be for it, and what are the terms going to be? And then it's a matter of like whether the product that just got acquired, if it becomes unavailable, if there are other good solutions out there. Let's say, for example, if there was an amazing battery production company that Tesla just bought, and that is by far the best battery company in the world, any other car manufacturer who wants to build an electric vehicle would be in trouble, because they would need to now build their own battery company or find another one that has to come up to that level. Yeah. So that is always the question.
That's the risk, right? Yeah. But talking about building themselves or building by yourself, what's the next big thing Balloon is working on right now?
So for us, what we're focusing on is to build the most configurable, most flexible platform for event organizers out there, which means give great control to organizers to customize the experience, pick and choose what they want to have, allow them to customize the look and feel, which, by the way, we just launched last week, the white label feature, which is really, really exciting.
Cool.
So it's basically, think of it as, you can just put your brand colors, like 2 colors, and just by ticking a checkbox, boom, everything looks like exactly your brand. You don't see Balloon, you just see your color. Obviously, this is available for enterprise customers, but this is the first step for, towards where we're heading. And where we're heading is, as I said, give even more control to event organizers. Why not allow the community and external people to create templates and themes around how you can actually build an event? And also another, there's actually more. I can't disclose too much. And the last one is if you think about events right now, at events, at best, you generate leads if you're an exhibitor or a sponsor. We want to go beyond that. We want to truly bring commerce into an event experience. I'm not going to say more, but that's kind of our grand vision.
Platform purchases or something like that? Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, I like this. I really like this. This is exactly what I meant with, I would wish for the platform providers to be that innovative, like push it to the next level. Things, technologies, innovations that me personally cannot think of yet, but I really like. So
it's an exciting time, because what we do now, ourselves and other players, we shape the experience for years to come. It feels like the early days of whatever industry you want to pick. Yeah. That's where we are now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's true. Maybe it's like an iPhone turn or something. Then you first of all, you don't think you need it, and then at some point you cannot live without it anymore.
True. I thought that was the iPad.
Yeah, no, Iraklis, but to wrap it up a little bit, I always end this thing with a closing question, but in your case, this doesn't really make sense. I guess it would be weird. The closing question is always, are digital events here to stay? What would you say?
Can you imagine if I say no? That would be awkward.
You'll be fired.
I will fire myself. So I would say yes, definitely. And the reason why I see that happening is because, what happened now with COVID, it's definitely like, hopefully it's going to be a temporary thing. And at some point we're going to go back to normal. But what happened is COVID has been a catalyst for things that were long due to happen. Like, for example, working from home, there was no reason why we shouldn't be doing that, for years now. If you're a knowledge worker working in front of a computer, you can work from anywhere as long as you have internet connection. I think the same thing happens with virtual events. People were kind of, for better or for worse, like they were kind of forced into experiencing that way of running events. But once they experience that, the benefits cannot be unseen. And I think the benefits cannot be unseen on both sides.
Yeah.
On the organizer side, which is what we said before about, accessibility and kind of democratizing the ability to bring together a community for a commercial or non-commercial purpose and build an event. And also for attendees who now they don't have to, spend a lot of money flying, or even for from an environmental perspective, it's much more friendly, right? You don't have to have all these people flying around to just speak at a conference or attend a conference. So I think there's a huge convenience factor and huge benefits on both ends of the spectrum, organizers and attendees alike. And as with anything else, when you have strong, compelling reasons, that product and that industry will stay in and grow. And I think now, the virtual events is a bit like the universe. It grows at an accelerated pace.
Wow. That was very poetic. You say it like that? It's like the universe. No, but as you said, with the new normal, I think the normal, going back to normal, I think we're in a period right now where we're actually defining the new normal. So
exactly.
Thank you so much, Iraklis, for joining and for sharing your stories on Balloon. I'm excited where you guys are taking it. And maybe we work together in the future. Fingers crossed.
Definitely. Definitely. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thanks everybody for listening today. As always, still the same sentence, more or less. It's exciting times coming up, so you should stay with us and stay updated on what's going on out there. Bye-bye.
PIRATEx Deep Dive. All things remote events.